friends. I'm Karen, and this is the Family Food for Moms podcast. We're talking about inspiration for family cooking and dining. Today, I want to talk about last minute dinners, or I think some people call them desperation dinners. So whenever you suddenly realize that you need dinner and you don't have anything planned, desperate to make dinner and not have to get takeout or spend more money, but you kind of have to make do with whatever you have in your kitchen. Having a list of ideas is very helpful because in that moment of panic, it's often hard to think of something. Yesterday afternoon at about 4 p.m., I suddenly thought, oh my goodness, what's for dinner? I had planned out lunch and I'd planned dinner for tomorrow night, but forgot to plan dinner for tonight. So now what's defrosted? What do I do? So I'm going to give you some ideas of what you can do at the last minute in that kind of situation. And I encourage you to make your own list of last minute dinners, put them just inside a cabinet in the kitchen somewhere where you can access them easily when you need to. Also, we have a free printable for you, not to be missed. A list of last minute dinner ideas, all the ones that I've mentioned on the podcast, plus all the items for your pantry, your freezer, your fridge, your grocery cupboard that you might need, and things that you should have in those places so that you can make the last minute meals when you need to. So I've given you all the items that I listed in the episode in a comprehensive list, plus place for you to fill in your own plan for meals and your own items that you need for your pantry, freezer, etc. So to find that, go to familyfoodformoms.com/last minute, one word. So it's familyfoodformoms.com/last minute as one word. So there you can find the downloadable. Just fill in your email address and it will come to your email. And then you can print it, see all the ideas and write down your own ideas and then stick the plan on the inside of one of your cabinet doors so that it's easily accessible on those days when you suddenly realize that you don't have dinner plans and you need some dinner. So we ended up I did a quick order. This is cheating slightly. I did a quick grocery store order for tomato soup, sun-dried tomato soup. And then we made cheese sandwiches, toasted cheese, grilled cheese sandwiches with ham. And it was delicious and it was good for a cooler evening inside. So we had bought tomato soup and homemade grilled cheese. So whatever works, right? It might be helpful to have some tins of your favorite kind of soup in the cupboard that you can open without having to have them in the fridge at the last minute to do a meal like this. But let's start at the beginning. Some meals for your desperation dinner list. So number one, as I've already mentioned, any type of tin soup with grilled cheese, and then perhaps you like something like ham or sliced chicken on your sandwiches. Or perhaps you like me and you just like the cheese, but you can be creative, add some mozzarella, some cheddar, or some Monterey Jack cheese, whatever you have in your area. The combination makes it even more delicious, and a little sprinkle of salt on the sandwiches and some butter really makes them amazing. The kids can help make their own sandwiches, make some interesting combinations of fillings if they want to, or just help you to grate the cheese and put it on your sandwiches, and that's easy dinner. There's always the option of having frozen food in your freezer that you can defrost and use, but most of those need some time, so it's better to get those out before lunch if you're going to cook them for dinner. But certain things are quick from the freezer. So frozen pizzas, maybe to have a few if you find often you need something. Or I know my mom-in-law would make fish from the freezer. So she had crumbed fish in the freezer, but you can have any kind that's easy to put in the oven. I know it's always good to cook fish from frozen, and you can just add a little salt on top, a bit of pepper, butter or olive oil, and some lemon juice, and it makes it delicious. Sprinkle on some almond flour if you want a bit of a gluten-free coating. So that helps. And then to have some cabbage, you can just slice it up and make a stir-fry cabbage with some salt as a side. Or you could do baked potatoes in the oven as a side. Just wash them, sprinkle with salt, a bit of olive oil, and put them in the oven for an hour on 400 or 200 Celsius. A baked potato bar or baked potato with toppings is also a great last minute dinner. So you bake the potatoes. So the moment you realize you've forgotten dinner, go and get the potatoes out, wash them, get them in the oven. And then while they bake, you and the kids can come up with some toppings. So if you have some bacon in the freezer, perhaps you can defrost it under running water and cook the bacon to chop up for a topping. If you have any tinned corn, it's nice to add. You can grate some cheese. You can add then any leftover meat that you have in your fridge, if it's chicken breasts or ground beef that's already been cooked. Those are great to add to your baked potatoes. Anything that is in your fridge is good, plus some salad ingredients to put on the side, some tomatoes, some lettuce, some feta, cucumber, and you have your meal. You can also do the twice baked potatoes where you scoop out the insides after they're cooked, mix them up with a bit of cream and seasoning, and then some corn or some other additions, and then you put them back in the jackets. You sprinkle cheese on top, and then you heat them up again in the oven. Then going with the bread idea that we were doing earlier when we said grilled cheese sandwiches, you can use dinner rolls and you can put slices of ham and cheese in there. You can use croissants with ham and cheese as a last minute dinner. And then anything to do with pita breads and tortillas are great. So having some frozen pita breads and frozen tortillas in your freezer is very helpful, especially if you're gluten-free, then you'll want to have gluten-free versions of those ready to go. You can also make quick flatbreads by mixing equal quantities of yogurt and flour with a tiny bit of salt and then frying those in a dry pan as your wraps. So then you've got your base. So then you can do a number of things with it. You can use it as a wrap, cook a little bit of chicken, or if you have a bit of leftover chicken, and you can make wraps with avocado, tomato, lettuce, cheese. Or you can do them pizza style, the pita breads or the tortillas. It works well to warm them in the oven or fry them on both sides in a dry pan. And then that is your base for your pizza. You can put some tomato puree, tomato paste on top, and then add whatever ingredients you have for pizza and some mozzarella cheese. That's a great quick dinner. That even works well with flatbreads or naan breads that you might have in your freezer. Putting any kind of toppings. Instead of mozzarella, you could put some ricotta from your fridge if you happen to have it. Again, with tomatoes or bits of ham, pineapple, feta, anything that goes well with that. Then if you have a bread machine and you want to bake quick pizzas, you can have the dough ready in an hour or two, and then you can just make any kind of flatbread pizza in the same way. But we're talking shorter times usually here. So let's talk about a few other meals that are even quicker. So egg fried rice, if you have leftover rice or you have a rice cooker or you know how to cook rice on the stove, unlike me, it never works on the stove. My rice cooker is such a blessing. So you use some rice and then you add a little bit of olive oil, some scrambled eggs on the side, and then mix them in. You can use frozen peas, a little bit of tamari or soy sauce, and then whatever vegetables or meats you have around. So if you have leftover stir fry or you have some cabbage that you can make stir fry with, if you have zucchini, anything like that is great to add to your rice, and it's filling and it's delicious. Season it until it tastes good. So add the tamari, add the salt, and then taste it as you go until you're happy with the flavor. So this is similar to any kind of stir fry. If you have some chicken breasts that you can defrost quickly under some running water, then you can give those a quick stir fry with tamari or soy sauce and salt, and then add a little honey, some sesame seeds, and then add either rice that's left over or rice noodles and make a great stir fry. Any vegetables you have to throw in, you can shred some carrots or grate them so that it cooks quickly. Shred the cabbage with a grater as well, and then you've got a great stir fry. Then sheet pan dinners in the oven, or one pot in the oven with a lid. That steams it as well as baking it, and it cooks a little faster. Sheet pan will tend to toast it more like a grilled version of it. So you could do chicken breasts, potatoes, or baby potatoes, and chopped vegetables. with olive oil, salt, and herbs, and then roast it in the oven. It's a very good idea there to have everything in similar sizes, especially the vegetables. The vegetables will take longer than the chicken. So cut the potatoes and the carrots smaller and add the olive oil and salt to those because that helps them to cook faster. And then the chicken, either take it off when it's ready or add it a bit later, and it takes about 25 minutes, the chicken. The potatoes for me always take closer to 50 minutes. So just keep testing it on along the way. You want it to be nice and crispy and flavored. Brussels sprouts work well on a sheet pan. Zucchini would work great, but it cooks faster than the other things. Broccoli, some people like it. I don't. I would prefer broccoli in a closed dish. So if you're doing something in an oven casserole or a cast iron pot or a glass dish with a lid, you would cook your chicken separately, maybe in the pan or in a different dish in the oven. And then you would cook your potatoes and your carrots and whatever vegetables in the glass dish with a lid. Again, add olive oil and salt, but it basically steams them as it cooks them, so it goes a little faster. Then another last minute desperation dinner idea is pasta. So you would cook your spaghetti or your tagliatelle or your penne in a pot of boiling water, salted like the ocean, and with a little bit of oil added. I like to add about 1/4 teaspoon of coconut oil. That helps the pasta not stick together. So you cook your pasta and then you're going to add something to it that's quick. One of the quickest things would be adding cream and then some grated pecorino cheese or Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. And you could add a few vegetables, like if you have zucchinis, chop them up, fry them separately in a pan till they're soft. If you put a little lid over the pan, it helps to cook those. And then add that to your pasta. If you have a tin of red pepper or a jar, often you get that cooked red pepper in jars. That's great to slice and add to your pasta. If you have some mushrooms, you could cook them up in the same way as the zucchini with a little bit of olive oil or coconut oil, some salt, a tiny bit of nutmeg, some onion powder. Stir fry your mushrooms with a lid on until they're cooked, and then add those to your cream pasta. So cheesy, creamy pasta with a vegetable or two is always great. You could have some canned pasta sauce on hand. I like one that is sun-dried tomato and pecorino sauce. Or perhaps you like a plain marinara sauce with lots of Parmigiano Reggiano. Freshly grated is delicious. So pasta is quite versatile. There are many things you can do at the last minute to make a good pasta. If you have meat on hand, you can cook your meat, cut it up, and add it to your pasta as well. We even do tuna pasta. I know a lot of people don't like tuna, but a last minute tuna spaghetti is amazing. So you cook your spaghetti as you would usually, and then you flavor it with olive oil, salt, and Parmesan or Parmigiano Reggiano, and you put it on a plate. Then you take some tuna tins and you mash up the tuna with a little bit of water until they're nice and loose, and you spread that over the spaghetti. And then you grate cheese, either mozzarella or another cheese that you like, cheddar. Sprinkle that all over the top, trying to cover the spaghetti so the spaghetti doesn't bake hard. And then you put it in the oven for a few minutes until the cheese is melted. And we serve it on those hot plates on mats at the table, and it's so amazing. Last minute quick tuna pasta. Another idea, if you have a whole lot of leftover vegetables and some canned vegetables like chickpeas or lentils, then you can make a soup. So you would take some bone broth and some water and then just add whatever vegetables you have, chop some potatoes, chop some carrots, and cook them up. And then if you have leeks, onions, that all works great. And then you blend it up with the blender, perhaps add a little bit of cream and salt at the end to taste, and have it with some bread. And that's a hearty winter dinner. Then tacos or nachos are great. If you have some cooked ground beef, or if you can cook some ground beef, or just take some tins of beans, red kidney beans, borlotti beans, whatever beans work well in chili, you can use in tacos or with a nacho dip. So hopefully you'll have a couple of bags of nachos in your pantry, or some tacos or tortillas in your freezer that you can use as tacos. And then you just add toppings that you have on hand. So salsa, lettuce, cheese, avocado. You can make it into guacamole, and those work beautifully for a quick dinner. And the old favorite, breakfast for dinner. So scrambled eggs, toast, hash browns, bacon, sausage, baked beans if you're British, or even do a bubble and squeak, which is kind of a frittata or an omelette, where you just add all the leftover things you have from your fridge. If it's some pie, chicken pie, or I didn't mean sweet pies, savory pies, leftover meat, some leftover vegetables. You put those in the pan, give them a quick stir fry to warm them up, and then you pour egg that you've whisked with some milk and seasoning. You pour it over, add cheese on top, and you cook it up like a frittata. So that's bubble and squeak. If you hadn't heard of that, it's a British thing. They love to do that at breakfast after a dinner with a whole lot of leftovers. Thanksgiving dinner, throw in some turkey, some unusual vegetables. It makes a great quick meal. Curry in a hurry, if you have some coconut milk or coconut cream on hand, some curry paste or curry powder, and then any vegetables or protein you have, chicken, potatoes, peas, and rice, and you can put it into naan bread, whatever you find. So not a lot of work, but you do need to have the chicken available, and then you can do a quick stir fry and add, even yogurt works if you don't have coconut milk, or some of each with the curry powder. And then you could also make a ramen kind of soup. So that'll be more broth and less vegetables. So if you have some canned broth or some shelf stable broth of some kind, you can cook that up, add lots of herbs and seasonings if you have any fresh herbs in your garden, and then add some chicken breasts and cook them in the broth, and then take them out and shred them and put them back in. It even works when they're kind of half frozen still. And then you would add a couple of vegetables like carrots, chop them quite small, and stir fry them a bit first for flavor and so that they do get soft in time. You can add fresh parsley, as I said, and then you would add a few noodles at the end, something similar to ramen or rice vermicelli noodles. Don't add too much noodles. It needs to be balanced with the amount of broth. And then you can add some greens if you have any from your garden, like bok choy or spinach or kale. Makes for a great ramen noodle soup. The grill is also a great tool for making last minute dinners. If you have some burger buns and burger patties in the freezer, or if you can pop out and buy those, it's cheaper than takeout. Just grab a few burger buns and do them on the grill. Or you could do any kind of kebabs or other meat that you might have available on the grill and make a side salad, some bread with that. So just be creative. And of course, it depends on what you have available, what you can get, and what you feel like doing. Sometimes we just don't feel like cooking, so we want to choose the easiest of these. And other times we have time, we'll take our time, but we need to start with fewer options. So make a plan for whatever works for you at the time. So desperation dinners are all about those quick, no-fuss meals that come together when you're feeling tired, or you don't feel like cooking, or you don't have the right ingredients ready, or you forgot to plan dinner and you just want something comforting and easy. So I hope this gives you some ideas. I'd love to hear if you have any ideas of things you do regularly. My email address is karen@familyfoodformoms.com. I'd love you to email me and say, we do this dinner, and I'll reply to you personally. Just a reminder that our new recipe book is out called Elegant Easy Appetizers. It's to help you as a family to have some ideas for appetizers for family dinners, just to make your family dinner a little bit special. If you want to have longer time to eat together so that you have more conversation, you feel like something a little fancier, and you want to make memories together with your family, perhaps you'll set the table a little more special than usual. I've got a few episodes to give you ideas about that. Then these elegant, easy appetizers are very easy to make. There are 5 ingredients each, and the photos will help you know how to style them on the plate. And some of them you don't even have to cook, you just have to arrange. So they're delicious and they're easy. So go and have a look. It's on our website, familyfoodformoms.com, in the store. The recipe book is, I think, on special for $15 printed and $14 as a PDF. Also, don't forget your last minute dinner ideas list with place for you to fill out your own. Go and download it now before you forget. So to find that, go to familyfoodformoms.com/last minute, one word. So it's familyfoodformoms.com/last minute as one word. So there you can find the downloadable. Just fill in your email address and it will come to your email. And then you can print it, see all the ideas, and write down your own ideas. And then stick the plan on the inside of one of your cabinet doors so that it's easily accessible on those days when you suddenly realize that you don't have dinner plans and you need some dinner. Thanks so much for listening. I'll see you next time.